So welcome. I want to show you how you can trade just 3 minutes candle. You just need 3 minutes candle, both buy and sell, bearish and bullish. That's what you want. Just 3 minute candle, and you are going to use this candle on a 3 minutes chart only. So you will not stress yourself. You just look for this candle. Once you see it, you take a trade. And this strategy is 80% win rate. It's 80% win rate. That is what I'm going to show you guys now. It's just for you to implement the rules step by step. Note, no strategy is 100%. So let me share my screen with you. If this is your first time on this channel, I'm Aqua FX. I document my trading journey here on YouTube, and I also drop tradable and profitable strategy here for you guys for free. So let's get to my screen. Let me show you how to trade this strategy step by step. So first, for us to trade this setup, we want to make use of a Bollinger Band, the upper band and the lower band. If you have been watching my videos, you will know what I'm talking about. You are going to be making use of this band here. Here is the upper band, while the green right here is the lower band. The middle, we don't need this middle, so you can either remove it or you leave it like that. So we don't need it. The only thing you have to do, it's just for you to go on your indicator. Once you go on your indicator, you click on it. So once you click on it, this interface will appear. Once the interface open up, you type Bollinger Band. You just type in Bollinger Band. Once you type in Bollinger Band, just type Bollinger Band. Once you type that, you see that Bollinger Band will appear. Once it appears, you search for the one you want to make use of. The one I'm making use of is this very one. Is this one at the middle that is written Bollinger Band. That is the only one I'm going to use. So once you click on the indicator, it will appear on your chart. Then you close the interface. So once you close the interface, you go to your chart. It's now for you to set up your indicator. But in case of, for this case, you are not going to do anything on the indicator. You allow it to be at the default setting. So you are not going to touch anything. You may likely want to change the band colors to whatever you like. Apart from that, the indicator remain at default setting. So once that happens, this is your 3 minutes chart. You are going to take this strategy on your 3 minutes chart. It's a scalping strategy, but this strategy can give you 1:4, 1:5 weeks to reward. So I'll be going with 1:4. We see how effective it is very strategy. It's not all the time you are going to be winning. It's not all the time you are going to take win straight, but this strategy is very, very powerful. So let's say once the market comes to the upper band chart, you are looking for a sell, and once the market comes to the lower band part, you are looking for a buy. How are you going to do that? You just have to wait for the market to come to the lower band, as you see right here. Once the market comes to the lower band, you are looking for a buy. How are you going to buy? That is what I'm going to show it to you guys. So once this market comes to the lower band, you look for opposite candle to form. Once the opposite candle closes and you know quite all right, it's opposite candle, it is time for you to take a trade. This is your 3 minutes chart. This is your 3 minutes chart. So right now we see that the market has touched the lower band. Then this opposite candle was formed. We see this opposite candle being formed, which happens to be your green candle. So as this candle formed, you have to take a trade on the 50% of this candle. If you don't know how to measure your 50%, then this is when you go to FIB. Since it's a buy setup, you FIB this market from, not from the wick, you FIB it from the body, from where it closes to the, this is just how you are going to FIB it. Then once you FIB it out, Once you flip it out, look at how I place my fib. So once you flip it out, the 50% should be your entry. 50% should be your entry. In this red line here happens to be your 50%, which my setting is at 0.5 fib retracement level. If you do not know how to set up your fib, let's do that. Let's do that. So I have clicked on my fib right now. I want to set. Once you click here, you will see setting. You click on setting. You go to your fib. Now, here are your fib level. Here are your fib positions. The ones I'm looking at is 0.5. You type 0.5. I've just enabled 0.5. 0.618, I've enabled it. And 0.786, those are the fibs that I want. Those are my fib setting. Then I have to give it a color that I want. Since this 0.5, at times it depends on how you are going to use it. Then this by 0.5, I do use it for two major scenario. So 0.618 and 0.786 are still powerful fib level. So that is how I set it up. Then I'll just click on OK. Those are the three fib levels I do use. So in terms of this scenario, the 0.5 happens to be my 50% on this candle. So the 0.5 fib retracement level is my 50% on this candle. So I'm going to place a long position. So my position will be on the 0.5. So once I enable it, once I click on it, my stop loss will come to this zone. My stop loss will come to this zone here. My stop loss will come to this zone. The low of that candle will be my stop loss, as you see so. So the low will be my stop loss, and my target is going to be 1:4 or 1:5. So I'll go for 1:4, which is right there. So that is my TP. You can go for 1:5 if you want. That is 1:5. But for you to be at the safe part, 1:4 will be, let's just go for 1:5. Let's not say 1:6. 1:6, 1:7. That is your 1:7 if you wish to go for 1:7. So this is your 3 minutes and you making use of Bollinger Band. Then as this market come to the high of this Bollinger Band, look, that is your first trade. The middle, it's null. You are not making use of the middle. So you see that this market has come and it triggered the Bollinger Band, the upper band. So as this happened, you are looking for opposite candle, which happens here. As this opposite candle happen, it is time for you to place a trade. How are you going to place a trade? You are not going to blindly place your trade. Therefore, 50% will be your entry and you target 1:4, 1:5 or 1:7. Then I'm going to pick my fib. Since it's a sell scenario, I'll place my fib from the up to the down, right there, just like that. Then the 50%, which is 0.5 fib retracement level, will be my entry. So I'll mark it out, which is this red line here. That is the red line there. And my stop loss range will be, I'm going to take a short position. Since this is short trade, I'll place it right there. My stop loss above that zone, and I'm going to go for 1:4, 1:5, 1:7. So my 1:4 was right there. 1:5 was right there. So you can choose to trade your stop just to make sure once it is 1:7, you close out, which was right there. So we've gotten 2 trades right there. So we've gotten 2 trades right there. So once again, this market come to the lower band again. You see the market coming to the lower band right here. As this market touches this lower band, here is the candle. Then you are looking for the 50% of this candle. So you can use your FIB for you to know the 50% of the candle for you to place a trade. And this is going to be your buy setup. So since this happens to be your buy setup, you FIB it from the bottom to the up right there. So 50% will be your entry, which is 0.5 FIB retracement level will be your entry. So you pick your long tool, you put your long position tool, you place it right there, then you are going to place your stop loss and your TP. So therefore our stop loss has to come below this range right here. Then our TP should be 1:4, which is right there. You can trade your stop once you hit 1:4. So that was our 1:4. 1:5 was made. You trade your stop. And your 1:7 right there, 1:7 was right there, which we also made. So you've gotten 1:7, 1:7, 1:7. Therefore, this market hits the upper band again right here and it closes bearish. If you are taking this trade will be a losing trade for you. If you were taking this trade, it will be a losing trade. So it's not 100%, but at least you will lose, you will win. So the market comes to the bottom. It came to the bottom. If you enter this trade at the 50%, this market would have moved to a certain, it would have moved certain out before the return to the downside. So if that you put your stop loss on break even, you wouldn't have gotten any losing trade right here. But as this market come to the upside again, it gives you this bear candle right here. It gives you bear candle here. So this bear candle, if you measure it, this is a sell position. So you pick your FIB. You FIB it from the up right there to the down. Then 50%, you pick your short tool. Pick your short position too. So your 50% happens to be this 0.5 FIB retracement. You place it there and your stop loss has to come above the high and you are going to target your 1:4, 1:5, 1:7. You are trading your stop loss. Your 1:4 was right there, or 1:4 was right there. Once you hit 1:4, you start trailing your stop loss. So you got your 1:5 right there. You keep trading your stop loss. So you hit your 1:7 again right there. So it's not all, the strategy is not 100% certain, but once you lose, you also have the chance to make a lot of profit using this same strategy. So therefore, this tutorial, that is it. So you see that this market come to the lower part again. As it touches this lower part right here, it closes with a bullish candle. Then this bullish candle, you have to place your trade at the 50% of this candle. This very one say we don't really need to measure it, so you just place your trade. You should pick your long two right there. You should pick your long two. That will be the 50% of this green candle. Your stop loss will come right before the low, and you go for 1:4. So your 1:4 was right there. Once it hit your 1:4, you can start trailing your stop. So therefore, your 1:5 was right there. You keep trailing your stop loss, and your 1:7, we do not hit 1:7. I think so. Your 1:7, we could not hit 1:7. So you made profit right there. So far so good. You've seen how many losses, and how many trade you won so far. So after which that happened, note one trade until one of your trade hit TP before you start thinking of taking another trade. So once that happened and it could not give us what we needed, your 1:7, the market breaks structure then to the downside. As it breaks structure to the downside, you see what happened here. As it touches this band and it closes bullish, if you take a trade, you will lose. Then the market did not touch any of the band again, except at this position, it touches the band and it closes bullish. You take that trade, you lose. It touches the band again and it closes bullish. You take a trade. That was a very nice trade for you, and it keeps rallies up to the upside. The market keep rallies to the upside, and all the losses you made so far at that point was erased. So you see the candle, the candle is not really, it's not supposed to be, it's just a red and green candle is what you should be focusing on. Then as this market breaks structure again, as it broke structure again to the downside, you should start looking for buy. You see, the market has broken structure to the downside. That is when you start looking for buy. Then as it touches the lower band, it gives you another candle, opposite candle. Then you enter the trade at the 50% of this candle, which you have to pick your fib. You have to pick your fib retracement. Since it's a buy position, you place it from the bottom of this candle, you take it up right there. Then 50% of this candle will be at the 0.5 right here. It's a long position too. 0.5 right there. Stop loss come below, and you go for 1:4 first. 1:4 before you start trailing your stop. So you hit your 1:4 right there. You keep trailing your stop. 1:5 was right there. You keep trailing your stop. So you cannot hit 1:7 right there. We could not hit our 1:7, but that was our almost 1:6. That is 1:5.93. So almost 1:6. So that was a winning trade, and we are waiting for the market to break structure to the downside before we start buying again. So what happened is this market has broken structure right here. There was no other structure to the down except this. So as this market breaks structure again to the downside, you start looking for entry. So as that happened, as the market takes structure back down, broke structure again to the downside, and the market closes with a bullish candle right here, this is when you should look for a trade. So you measure the candle, 50% of this candle. No, this is your 3 minutes. This is 3 minutes. There are many losses and there are many wins. There are losses and there is win, but you should wait for structure breaks. That is what I did not point out that early, but you should always wait for structure break before you sell or buy. So as this market gives us opposite candle again right here, it is for us now to measure our 50%. So we pick our fib right here. We flip it from the bottom to the top right there. Then after that, we choose our 50%. Our 50% is where we are going to place our buy. Our long position, it's from here. 50% we long, and our stop loss has to come below this zone right here, and we go for our 1:4, 1:5, 1:7. So our 1:4 has to be made before we start trading our stop. So our 1:4 was made right there. Our 1:4 was made right there, so we have to start trailing our stop. So we may just target the high here, but we just have to keep trailing our stop. So that is it. This is already 1:4 point something. You may even likely want to close at 1:4, which is a very nice risk to reward. So if let's say you are doing 1:4, this is 1, 2, 2, that was your 2 trade, 2, 3. This one was even 1:6, almost 1:7, 3, 4, 4. This one was 1:7, 4, 4. We lost here, we lost there, we lost here. So 4 wins, 5, 1:7, 6, 1:7, 1:7, 6, and so many more if you want to trade. So many more if you want to trade. You see, the same thing happens here. This market breaks structure right here to the downside. At its broken structure right here to the downside, check it. It touches the lower band, and this market keep rallies to the downside. But this very place, as it broke structure, touches the lower band right here and close bullish. If you're taking this trade, it will be a lose. But if you take this one 7, you will hit TP, you hit your profit. As it broke down again, you are still looking for buy once once the market hits the lower band. So the market hits the lower band right here and it closes bullish. If you take this trade, it will be a loss, and if you try it again, it will be a winning trade. So this is it for this strategy. I remain Aqua FX. You can join my free Telegram channel. If you want to ask any question, you feel free to ask. So I remain Aqua FX as I sign out. Peace.